Hey guys, how's it going in here? I actually already recorded this video on the replay, but I forgot to unmute my mic, so I'm having to do it again. Now, I'm gonna talk a little about Thrall. Where does he fit in the meta as that second frontliner, as that solo laner, and whether you should consider playing him in your next Hero League games. So the current meta is very divey. It's a very dive meta. You have the Illidan, you have the Greymane, you have the Zonias and the Malthael, and most people have forgotten about how Thrall is very good at punishing dive, especially when he can flank. Um, I think he's very good on small maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen, Curse Hollow that has very strong, very little corridors where you can get those thundering, those earthquakes, in order to punish a diving front line, which is what most heroes at the moment are not able to do. The main reason Ragnaros has fallen out of the meta is because he can't punish dive and he can't dive himself. So I think Thrall can be very good if you play him correctly. Flanking, getting those flank with Thrall is very important for you to be able to, uh, you know, punish diving heroes. Um, other than specifically being able to punish diving heroes, I think Thrall is still a very strong solo laner and has very good matchups against the Haka, against Ragnaros, against Sonya if she doesn't go for the whirlwind uh, root removal level 4, um, and even still has very good matchups. I think the Illidan matchup. I think in my experience yesterday from playing a couple of Thrall games back to back, I think the Illidan matchup is very skill dependent, but Illidan is a much harder hero to play, so it's much easier for you to win if you are somewhat capable of hitting your roots, uh, and not using your EU when he has um, evasion on. Other than that, I think he has a very good matchup. I think most people have forgotten about him, how to play against and with him. Very rarely people are gonna ban it against you, which is also very good if you like to play the that front line, that second front line, that solo laner. Most of the time, a lot of the heroes that like to flank, or like to fill that role, like Malthael, like Sonya, like even like the Haga, are usually banned, which is an im- an advantage for you if you want to play Thrall and you want to fill that role for your team. Um, I think Thrall fits the most with teams that are able to follow up on his flanks. For example, I played a couple of games with Malfurion, and whenever I use my Sundering to separate the front line from the back line, he used roots and Twilight Green being able to punish even more that diving front line, which is a really big problem at the moment. Uh, the main thing is that, especially in Hero League, that is a not very organized environment. Um, Diving is not very reliable as a strategy on Hero League at the moment, because it requires a lot of coordination, but you don't have that kind of coordination on Hero League. So it will be very easy for you to punish the dive, because although dive requires much coordination, it requires coordination against the team that is able to punish it. But punishing it requires coordination as well. So, and it's much easier to coordinate if you if you're not being dived by a ton of heroes at the same time. So I think Thrall has a very good place in the current meta. I think he's an underrated hero. I think you can you can carry a cup a lot of games with him, um, especially if you know how to play him. If you are able to get those flanks, those game winning flanks, and you are able to separate that front line from the back line, then you kill the front line, and the back line have just to run away. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna put a link in the video description with my go-to Thrall build, which I think is the strongest Thrall build at the moment. And I hope you are able to win some hero league games with a Farseer, with a true war chip of the horde. Again, he's a very underrated hero. He has a ton of damage. He has a ton of playmaking capabilities, and most people have forgotten about him. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next one.